Back, your county reporter Dan Connolly, one of the best beat writers in Major League Baseball, just happens to be for one of the worst teams, the Orioles. Dan covers the O's for The Athletic. Once labor peace was reached, he was kind enough to take a few minutes to talk about the quick return. Forgive the casual appearances. We both threw on our baseball thinking caps for our Sunday sit-down, and I started the conversation asking Dan to pretend he's a doctor and tell me how healthy is Major League Baseball.
If you would have asked me that a couple weeks ago, I would have said, on life support. Now I think baseball is walking around the hospital hallway, needs some rehab, but should be back and be solid, after a couple of months. I mean, to me, the most important thing is, they had a situation where we don't know when the season was going to start. We didn't know if it was going to start, and we didn't know, if there was 162 games going to be played. Because there is, I think the vitriol that fans had, has lessened some, because they're going to see 162 games, because it's only a week delay in opening day. So I think if it had been a larger delay, I think if games had been lost, I think it would be back to, if not life support, certainly, some strong medication for baseball. But right now, I think it's in a situation where I don't think it's super healthy, but I think it is certainly better than it was.
What's worse, anger or apathy? Because I sensed a lot of apathy when it came to the lockout and just a lot of washing of the hands to both the players and the owners. Like, are you kidding me? This is a sport that doesn't need to shoot themselves in the foot again.
In normal situations, you would say anger might be worse because, people get mad and they don't show up or whatever. But I think the sport has been dealing with a lot of apathy over the last 5 or 10 years. It's not as exciting as it used to be. There's the three true outcomes with strikeouts, walks, and homers. Ball's not put in play a lot more. The game is slowed down some. So I think that there's a lot of the younger generation that really isn't interested. It doesn't really care. And I think that's the real problem. It is already been an apathetic situation, I think, the last few years. And so to add this onto it, more apathy, I think could really be a problem. Like I said before, I think it's in a better situation it was a few weeks ago, baseball as a sport, but I think there's a lot of things it still has to do. I think there are some major concerns on whether they're going to be able to not necessarily bring the fan base back, but keep and build on the fan base. And I think that's what they have to do, is because I think a lot of people who are baseball fans are getting older, and that younger generation, it doesn't seem to be really kind of, gravitating towards the game the way people did, say, 20 or 30 or 50 years ago.
So they are going to make some tweaks. They're going to try and make some changes, including eliminating the DH. So there's just going to be some changes that fans will see this year. What are the ones that stand out to you, and maybe some of the changes that baseball might be getting them in the more exciting, category for fans?
DH being universal is huge. I mean, I think it was 1973 when it was first instituted in the American League. That's been a long, long time. A lot of baseball fans, really don't remember baseball before the DH. I don't remember baseball before the DH, and I'm over 50. So that tells you something. And so I grew up with the DH in the American League. And, I have a lot of friends who are National League fans, and they want to keep the DH, the pitchers hitting in there. But really, watching a pitcher hit, run the bases, it's often a disaster. I think that, people say, well, he's a good hitting pitcher, but that means he probably batted 200 or 150 or whatever it is, or got on base at a 250 clip. It's not fun to see these guys. They're overmatched. Pitching has changed so much, that almost everybody who grabs a baseball now is throwing 96 to 98 miles an hour or more. Get the bat out of the hands. I think, Nelson Cruz goes to the Washington Nationals. Nelson Cruz is a guy I would pay to watch hit. He's a great person, but he's also a really good hitter. And his career is being extended by that. There are some other things, and one of the traditions that kind of was taken away and now is back is the 9-inning doubleheader. Larger bases now, that's going to be interesting. And they're going to tweak with the shift and kind of reduce what you can do with the shift. And I think that's going to maybe put the ball in play a little bit more, because guys maybe not necessarily feel like they have to hit the ball over the wall. They can maybe get some singles into right field or even left field.
I really appreciate Dan's time. It was a whirlwind couple of days getting down to spring training for him quickly after the labor deal was reached. If you'd like to share or watch any of our Sunday sit-downs or other stories from the show, make sure you check out fox43.com/friends.